One of those days. And hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's To Get Seen Hangout. I am Sean Adams, the host. This week we are going to be talking about the topic of marketing for service providers. And if you look below this video, whichever page you're viewing this on, there's a couple links there to be able to get an ebook that we're going to be talking about and discussing throughout this hangout. Because to function and to market as a service provider, you have to be a little bit different than a typical brick-and-mortar business, and there's some little things that you can keep in mind and do effectively that can help you have more success. But before we go into kind of the little tips and ideas that I have for everybody about how to market as a service professional or a service provider, I want to we have another guest in the hangout with us who's usually here. I want to let him have a chance to introduce himself and tell the world a little bit about him and what he does. So, Robert, you're up first. Go ahead and say hello to everybody and tell everybody a little bit about who you are, and then we'll go to Wendy next.
Hello, everybody. Yes, a regular with Sean's Hangouts. Always get valuable information and love to connect with him. In addition to being Sean's partner on the Daily Upbeats project, where we share positive music with everyone to start their day. I'm also the author of a book called Manifesting for Non-Gurus. That's actually in the midst of being retitled, which is an exciting new project. And I do coaching and consulting and speaking and training with organizations and schools and individuals all over the world. Lots going on.
Excellent. We're always happy to have you here. Thank you, Robert, for joining us, and we always enjoy your input and your insights. We also have from the land down under, who I don't know if she's in the land down under, if she's in New York at the moment, but we have...
I'm down under.
Oh, you're back home. Okay. We've got Ms. Wendy. Wendy, why don't you go and say hello to the world?
Yes, good morning, world. Good morning, Sean. Good morning, Robert. I am Wendy. I am a specialist in leadership development, which includes workshops and coaching and numerous other things. And I head up a small but powerful boutique business school specializing in business leadership as opposed to other forms of leadership. And nice to be here. I'm looking forward to hearing all about stuff related to small business. So, yeah, great.
Excellent. Well, we're glad you're here. Thanks for joining us. I guess it's getting up early on your end, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I figured I might as well come while it's a 7 a.m. slot. Once we get to the 5 a.m.s again, that could be challenging. So it's like, oh well, you know, it's the less of the three evils, because I think it goes 7 a.m., 6 a.m., 5 a.m. So
I understand. Well, thanks for joining us. It's good to see you and good to have you here. And thanks for being here. So, like I said, today we're going to be talking about that idea of marketing for service providers. It's different than marketing for regular brick and mortar businesses, because for like a brick-and-mortar business like a movie theater or something like that, you know, they've got their movies, they've got the things that draw you in on a regular basis. You can go once or twice a week. Where a service provider, it's one of those things that somebody has to choose or select to actually go and interact with. And when I say service provider, I'm thinking along the lines of a chiropractor or an acupuncturist or a massage therapist or something along those lines, a nutritionist, a trainer, something along those lines, where the person actually has to make a active, selective decision to say, I'm going to come and spend time there and do this work. It's a little different. It's a little more challenging to sometimes market that, but there's some things that if you do this and you keep it in mind, you're going to be able to have a little bit more success. And like I said, below this video, you can get the ebook that I'm kind of building out of. And Robert and Wendy, feel free to jump in and chime in anytime. I know, like Robert and Wendy, you guys are both coaches and consultants in ways too, and in a lot of ways that's also service professional work, and so this is very relevant to both of the worlds that you guys are in. So I thought I'm glad to have you here, and I'm looking forward to kind of your thoughts and your insights as we move through this. So the first thing that is important, and this is true in any business, but it's especially important in the world of the service professional, is you have to offer a positive experience. It's that they're going to get one touch with you, and if it's going to be a positive, you want to make sure that that first impression is very, very positive and effective. And it might be that if you might not even get to do that first impression in your office as a treatment for the first time. It may be just the first time they see you. And so no matter what interaction, whatever their first touch with you is, if it's a Facebook ad, a post on social media, a meet and greet at a business-to-business conversation, any of those things, a presentation you might give, any of those things, you've got to make sure that they walk away feeling like they had a positive experience. And this is true in any business, but it's especially true in the service industry because you're selling more than just your services. You're also doing a lot of selling yourself. So they have to get to know, like, and trust not just the service you provide, but you as a person who provides that service. So I think those are two very important pieces that you have to keep in mind. Any thoughts, Robert, Wendy, on that?
Just that, yeah, it's like a brand, isn't it? It's about creating a brand, and which is just as important for anyone. But yes, for service providers, very important too. You're right; those first impressions and how do I come across. So yeah, it all makes sense.
Yeah, it's who we are. It's how we are seen in the world. It's how we want to be seen in the world, and especially in your personal business and a service business, that's even more relevant and more important. So it does become something you've got to be aware of. So that's number one. The next one is number two is to automate in a personal way. And what I mean by this is that a lot of times you'll get emails that are rather generic that go out to everybody that has some kind of emails or text messages or some kind of communication with a business that's really generic. Like I get a text message every once in a while from Redbox, and they offer me a coupon to, get a free movie or whatever. But it's not like, hey, we know you watched this movie. We think you might like this new one that just got released. If Redbox did that, I'd be probably quicker to be reading their text messages when I get them on a regular basis. Or if I get an email that seems really generic, that is clearly written for 500 people instead of, even if it's just something simple where it has your first, like dear and the person's first name, that little tidbit makes it feel more personal, makes it seem more important, and it's going to make that connection stronger for folks. And so you need to be able to make sure that you're marketing in a personal way. And also, this is where you can be doing simple little free gifts. Give them, a free. Let's say you're in a trainer for a gym kind of thing. Give them a free power bar that you happen to like, and say, hey, you know what? It was really great to see you. I just wanted to send this off to you. We had talked about it. I wanted you to have it. It's hearing what they want, listening to them. I talk about this all the time. That one of the things I'll collect from some of my clients is find out kind of what their favorite authors are and what their favorite movies are, or movie series, or directors, or actors. And I might send them a movie ticket if Tom Hanks is their favorite actor and Tom Hanks has a new movie coming out. Hey, I heard Tom Hanks is coming out. Why don't you use this to go watch the new Tom Hanks movie? And it's the fact that I talked about Tom Hanks and I know that they really like Tom Hanks. That goes a lot farther than just sending a free movie ticket or sending them, an Amazon gift card to buy the new book for their favorite author. Instead of just randomly sending them an Amazon gift card, I send them an Amazon gift card with a note that says, hey, Stephen King's got a new book coming out next month. I thought you might want to be able to pre-order it with this. Something like that, but it makes them understand that you know who they are, you listen to them. That personal touch is going to go a lot farther and be a lot more effective. So I was going to continue with the note cards, but I actually realized as I was starting to do this that I have no more note cards in my office. So you'll have to get the ebook below to be able to follow along if you'd like, but if not, it's fine. I can keep going. Thanks, Robert. I wish digitally that would
just type it into the chat box and I'll write it on a note card for you.
Well, thanks, Robert. That's awesome. But that's how it works.
You could get some toilet paper from your bathroom and just roll it down.
I could, and that would probably that would actually be pretty entertaining. I'll have to try that sometime. That's pretty entertaining idea. I like that. I could also cheat and do this, and just go with. Here's the next topic we're going to talk about, which is talk with clients, not at them. And so what I mean by talk with clients, not at them, see, look at that. It's technology at its finest, people, is that you need to actually talk to them in language that works. I recently changed my elevator speech. It used to be like I help small businesses achieve more through automation and simplification. And that makes total sense to me because that is what I do. I help people simplify their business. I help them automate things for their business. But those are catchy, phrasy words that, to your average small business person, their eyes gloss over. It goes right over their head. They have no desire to actually have a conversation about that because they don't even know they need automation or simplification. They don't even know what it is. And I'm just talking in lingo. Where my new phrase is that I help a small business identify the places they can make money easier and identify the time in order to be able to focus on those things. Those are things a small business person wants to hear. that they want to make more money and that they have the time to be able to focus on the things that make more money. That is a good thing. How do I do that? Through automation and simplification. But they don't need to hear that. They don't need to know that. That's not an issue to them. They just need to know that I can help them identify the best money-making strategies for them, and I can help them then I can help them use their time more effectively. Like I was doing a consult for a chemical distribution company, and the thing that has worked most effectively for this company was nothing more than me going in and helping them understand how to use their email better. So instead of having 400 emails a day to have to look at, quickly spend 10 minutes cleaning all of the things you don't need to look at into either email folders or deleting them instantly, and then you only have the things that are business specific that you need to look at, and now from 400 you're down to maybe 15. That makes a lot more manageable day than 400 crazy emails that you have to somehow balance and figure out. So that's none of that was really necessarily automation, it was simplification. But I didn't go in and say I'm going to automate and simplify your email. I said I'm going to find out what's keeping you from making more money. And I can't handle all the emails. I don't process my orders well because they get lost in the email morass. Because they would go and look at the email and get overwhelmed and find something else to do. Instead, they now go look at the email, clean everything out, look at what's left, and don't do anything else. Don't make phone calls, don't do follow-ups until those 15 emails are addressed. And then they have the rest of the day to build their business. Instead of that email monkey on their back the whole time, they've completely been able to free themselves of that and able to really just focus in on the one thing that they really need to be doing for their success. Simple things, but they work really well. Any comments or thoughts you guys might want to share?
Well, I think a lot of what you're talking about, Sean, is differentiation. And the ways that service providers can differentiate themselves. And I would totally agree with you that that's critically important because, like you said, the service provider is not a product. It's not a commodity. It's ideally, it is something that sometimes people look at in terms of price only. But to me, look, for me as a service provider and when I'm working with service providers, I'm going to encourage them not to go into that conversation about being a commodity because it's just an unwinnable game. The degree to which you can differentiate yourself and really establish value as a service, doing the kind of things that you're talking about, is the degree to which you can charge higher fees and not get into that conversation about being a commodity.
Yeah, exactly. It's that idea. You have to make sure people get that you are unique. I mean, in the world of service providers, you're solving a problem that they have. Often it's pain, it's frustration, it's whatever. Like for me, it's lack of financial success for a small business, whatever it might be. You've got to be able to identify that pain and convince that person that you can help solve that pain for them. And why you are uniquely qualified to be able to do that. I mean, I'm more than happy to spend twice as much on an acupuncturist who actually helps me feel better than go with the cheapest acupuncturist but not really feel better after going to it. Same thing with a massage therapist. I leave a massage and I don't feel relaxed. My body aches because they're too rough or they don't do it very well. That actually made my life worse than if I get to spend a little extra money going to the massage person I know, like, and trust, who does it right, who takes the time to learn about me and knows what I need. That kind of stuff really does make a difference. And Wendy, you were going to say something as well?
Yeah, two things are coming up for me. That differentiation thing, which is important, and the fact that you talked about examples where it's almost like you appeal to their human nature. You hear me, you see me as a person. That's fundamental, one of the most important things in life. So that's great, and that's really powerful, and it does separate you from others. And I can't remember what the other one was. Oh yes, I just wanted to give an example of how to stand out. That's right. In this world of busyness, something stood out for me the other day. It was when I was buying some books in Barnes and Noble in New York City. That sounds nice, doesn't it? New York City. And on my receipt, and I know they do this online on Amazon, but on my receipt at the bottom it said thanks, and you might also like, and it had 3 other titles that I might like on the bottom of the receipt, and that really stood out for me. Like I said, in this crowded world of everyone being at me, that I just thought that was lovely. It was tangible. It was on my receipt, and it almost like was that, yeah, you hear me, thing. You know me, and they were 3 books that I would like. I mean, I didn't race back to buy them, but I kept the receipt, and I may very well in the future get them. And for some reason, it was more powerful seeing it on my receipt where I could touch it than it was when I see it online when Amazon says you also might like blah, blah, blah. So interesting.
Yeah, and I think that's a great example of a business that did really well. It does it really well as Amazon in the fact that they really do know exactly who you are, what you're interested in. I think, Amazon Prime does that really well. I think that Netflix does it very well. Other movies you might like, that kind of stuff where they understand who you are, they understand what you're interested in. And this is going to go into the next topic, which I'm going to go ahead and talk about, because this is that world of talking about referrals and multiply referrals while lowering costs. You want to, a small business can grow in one of 2 ways, and it's very simple. The small business either gets new clients who purchase their product, or they get returning clients to buy more of their product. Well, in the world of getting new clients, that new client acquisition can be really expensive. That's the most expensive part of business, is getting new clients, unless the people who are helping you get new clients are your current clients, because they know you don't have to do the sale. Your current clients do it for you. I've got an acupuncture office, or I've got a chiropractic office, where they're very good about this. They have a giant chalkboard just at the entrance of their office, and it says, welcome to the new referrals, and they'll put the new referrals name up, and thank you to the person who invited them. So the new referrals getting recognized, and the person who invited them is also getting recognized, because they get that it's both sides of that are very important. And so there's ways you can automate some of this referral tracking. There's ways you can automate thanking folks for referrals, but the reason why I brought this up with Barnes & Noble is the other side of referrals is it's not always just referrals to you. Like, I may have a bookkeeper that I work with who's my bookkeeper, who, if she's working with a company and they say we want to hire a bookkeeper, and the bookkeeper realizes this company, she can do the books for this company, but this company actually needs, is just lost on what they need to do to be more efficient, she'll refer to them to me. Or I might be working with a company, and it might get to the point where one of the things they need to do to free up more time is to hire a bookkeeper. Great, I'll refer them to the bookkeeper. So it's not just current clients referring to you, it's you referring clients to other people who have expertise in unique areas that either you don't want to do or you know will help and benefit them. And so referrals are an important key, and the more you can benefit from referrals by both giving them and receiving them in a low-cost, efficient way, and this is where automation can come in, all of that's going to help you be able to market your business better. If the people get rewarded for bringing you business, I know there's a lot of folks out there who, real estate folks, will give $500. If you bring a lead that I eventually take and sell, I'm going to just give you $500. That's fantastic. The real estate person is going to make well more than that on commission, and they didn't have to go out and find this lead. Somebody handed it to them and said, look, my friend's trying to sell their house. I think you would be great. Give him a call. That stuff works very well. But you want to reward folks, even if it's just the pat on the back, the name on the chalkboard, whatever it is, for doing that referring, so they want to do it more often. Admittedly, it's even better if you can give them some kind of prize. Like the chiropractic office, what I'm recommending is everybody who brings in a new referral for the month gets, or over the next 4 months, gets put into a raffle to win. They do a cleanse every 4 months where they invite the members of the practice to purchase this cleanse, and they do it all together so they can support each other and assist each other. And so, but the cleanse isn't cheap. So if everybody who gives a referral, you get your name into the hat once for every referral you bring in. That's a great way to have people bring in more and more referrals, because they have the chance to get that cleanse for free. It's a nice option. Those kind of ideas. So thoughts on referrals from the two of you?
Single most important marketing strategy for any service provider, I think, is referrals. And you kind of touched on this, but I would shine an even brighter light on the willingness to ask for them. I see so many service providers that hesitate to ask for referrals. Sean, you know this. I spent a lot of time working with Jack Canfield. I was actually Jack's director of training for a number of years, and one of the things he taught me was there's no such thing as rejection. That if I have a client and I ask them for a referral and they don't give me a referral, I didn't have a referral before I asked. I don't have a referral now. The absolute worst thing that could happen happened. They said no, and the situation has not gotten any worse. So there's really no harm in asking. And yet so many people, I would say it's absolutely the norm, so many people hesitate or resist asking for referrals. And it is, all the money and time and energy that's spent on, sophisticated online marketing strategies. If people were just willing to look their clients in the eye and say, who do you know? I think that's the single biggest thing that could impact business.
Yeah, and I think you're spot on. That is the single greatest way to grow your business. And you're right. It seems to be one of the biggest fears people have is to ask for that referral. When you ask, it's amazing. I mean, I did this the other day. I sent out I messaged a bunch of people via social media saying, if any of you would be willing to do a testimonial video for me, I would appreciate it. You guys have known me. I've helped some of you. If you'd be willing, I'd love for you to be able to do that. They don't even have to refer to me clients. They just have to be able to make a video saying, this is why I would recommend it. Even that was a stretch for me. It was awkward to reach out to folks, but I'm still getting 4 or 5 videos out of it. And so that makes a difference. Just asking for it is what brought it to you. And I think there's a power in asking for it. There's something in there that says, I know my service is valuable. I know I have benefited you, that I believe that you know it also benefited you. Why wouldn't you want to go and share this with somebody? So I think referrals are important. I think that's a good key piece. The next piece that we're going to talk about is to be involved in your community. And this is giving back. And it doesn't mean that you have to, sponsor some major thing. It doesn't have to be a large financial commitment. It doesn't even have to necessarily be a large time commitment. But if you are actively involved in your local community, because when you're a service professional, your community is your clientele. I can consult with businesses online or over the phone, so my clientele isn't my specific town I live in necessarily. But it is something that is, it can help. If I volunteer at Habitat on Fridays and help build a Habitat house every Friday. And I haven't gotten a single business, I haven't gotten a client out of volunteering at Habitat. But if I talk to folks and we were trying to schedule a time and they ask, hey, I noticed your Fridays aren't available, why can't I schedule with you on Friday? My credibility automatically goes up when I say, well, you know what, Fridays are the day I give back. It's the day I go build a Habitat. That actually gives me a lot of credibility with potential new clients. It's also a good way to just do press releases about yourself, promote yourself without actively promoting your business, but just saying, hey, here's something I believe in. This is why I volunteer with Habitat, why I think it's important. It's not about my ego, it's not about my attention, it's about I give back, I'm benefiting something, and it can be of benefit to other folks as well. Wendy, you had mentioned that real estate agents do this so well. Do you want to speak on that?
Okay, just excuse the background noise. Alex just making breakfast. Yeah, I just know in our local community they're always getting involved in, fundraisers at local schools and weekend festival events. They're just always in the community and always connected to the community. They offer their billboards to local schools when their local schools want to advertise their school fete. The school fete will be advertised, but it'll be on a real estate billboard. They just really immerse themselves in the community. What I've also noticed, I've just joined a local chapter of BNI, and I shopped around and went to a few before I chose the one that fitted me best. And there was a real estate agent represented in all BNIs. So I thought, yes, they just know how to connect with people, and they seem to be able to relax too. They don't necessarily expect anything straight away out of it. They just know that it gets results. So yeah, I thought that was just a really good example.
Yeah, and I think real estate agents are a great example because their interaction with somebody doesn't automatically lead to a lead that moment. Not everybody needs to sell their house every time they're having a conversation with somebody. But if they have a really positive interaction with a real estate agent, or they say the name often, or they see that this person is giving back to the community often, when it gets time to them to want to either sell or buy a house, that name's already in their mind. They already have a good opinion about that person, which is why they do it that way. So they're doing the long-term getting to know me process, so that when that person does have that need that does come up, they're already kind of front and center in their mind, which is important. So I'm glad you brought up that. It's a really good example. And it's the same thing. A lot of people, like acupuncturists, it's great if people are aware that you are the town acupuncturist, that you are available, but a lot of people aren't going to go to an acupuncturist or a chiropractor until they have pain. Instead of going in for preventive medicine, which is what really they're very good at, a lot of times they're not going to go see a chiropractor until they have that back pain or that neck pain or that pinched nerve or whatever it is. But if they know of this chiropractor, they've seen this person around, they've shaken hands with them, they see that they're supporting the local high school, it's going to be like, what chiropractor should I go to? Oh, yeah, I remember seeing Bob. Let's go check out Bob. It's the same for any service professional. When that need arrives that you need that service professional, if you've seen them in positive lights prior to that, it's going to make more of a difference. So that's a good point. Thanks, Minnie. Next up on our list of fun stuff for service providers is exclusive offers and social media. And this is kind of that fun area of getting yourself known as a service professional. A lot of times people make this mistake. I'm going to start with social media and then I'll talk about exclusive offers. In the world of social media, people often make this mistake that they create a page and all they do is promote, 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 buy my stuff, 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 but they're never actually giving any value to the person other than their one item. Where what you want to do, there's this concept in the world of social media which is called the 90-10 rule. 90% of the posts that you give should be of benefit to that other person in some way. It could be a good article, an inspirational quote, a movie that they should go see, something positive that's supportive of them, that has something to do with kind of your business, whatever that is. It could be, a chiropractor could be sending out, posts about like the prevalent, like easy exercises you can do at home to help prevent back pain. And you send out that article, whatever it is, and it's stuff that helps the person but makes them think, oh, this person really does know how to help me with my back pain, so that when they eventually realize, oh, I need a chiropractor, that last 10% of your posts is that sales, is that, hey, by the way, here's something we have, and this is where exclusive offers can come in. Because you've been following us, because you follow us on social media, because you like our page, whatever it might be, come in for, your initial visit at $35, which is a $100 savings off the usual $135. And a lot of times people care more about the fact that they were part of an exclusive offer than what the deal necessarily is. They don't care that it's $35 and $100 off. They care because they were a fan of that page, only those fans of that page got this offer. That exclusivity makes that person want to work with you more because now they're part of your inner circle. They're special to you. That makes a big difference as well. And this is where you can do contests and things like that. But social media isn't just buy, 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 buy. It's benefit, 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 benefit. By the way, here's how I can benefit you. Benefit, 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 benefit. And here's a way I can benefit you because you're unique to me. You're special to me as something exclusive. So to me, those are the pieces that are important in social media and exclusive offers, and that's why I think these two go so well together. Any thoughts in that world?
I have a question for you on that, Sean, and I agree with you that the whole strategy of offer, offer, offer clearly doesn't work. But the other side of it that I see that in my opinion, I don't have any data to back this up, but just my impression that doesn't really work either is to be posting a bunch of social stuff. People don't really care where I'm going out to dinner. They don't really care, what I'm wearing today. They don't care what my cat's up to. So going that far in the opposite direction doesn't seem to work as well. What are your thoughts about how to kind of balance that? Like, what's in between? What kind of posts can people be doing that do create value without, saying, buy my stuff, buy my stuff?
Yeah, and I think I mentioned it, and I think you're spot on. It's got to be relevant to your business. If I'm a real estate agent and I'm posting on social media, I'm not going to talk about my dog and, I washed my dog today. Look how funny he looked. Ha, ha, ha. Like, unless you're trying to get them to connect with you, unless the dog's in the office and people who, like, unless you're going to be like, look at my dog, we just gave him the bath, stop by the office, check him out, say hi, he loves friends. Whatever it is, like, if it's not relevant to your business, you shouldn't be posting it. This is the reason why I believe in the world of social media. You have your business presence online and your personal presence online. Whenever I post anything from toGetSeen.com, I post it on social media first as the To Get Seen page, the To Get Seen business page. Then, occasionally, I will share some of those on my personal page if it's something that is relevant to my friends, like my inspirational quotes. They don't necessarily need to know about the free ebooks. They care about the inspirational quotes I share every day. Or if I have a book recommendation, even though it's a recommendation for small businesses, I might share it on my personal page because everyone knows I'm a bookaholic, and so me talking about a book, they're going to listen because they know I have decent taste in books. That kind of thing. But it's not, you can take business and post it on your personal, but you don't take your personal and post it on your business. You want to really keep those clean. And your business page is going to grow slowly, and it's not going to have huge crowds right away. But as it grows, as it builds, those people want to know about your business. And if you're stuck on, I don't know what to share, do searches for people that are in the same business. I like to talk about business and inspiration. So I follow Bob Proctor, Jack Canfield, Brendan Bouchard, like some of the top thought business consulting inspirational leaders out there, Beckworth and all these other folks, and I'll post stuff from them onto my business page that is really good. If Jack wrote a really great article about, like, he wrote something recently about like the 7 mistakes small business professionals make on a regular basis, I don't have to come up with that on my own. I can share that onto my business page because it's relevant to people who are small business owners, which is my niche. So as long as it's information that's relevant to the small business owner, it's valuable and it's beneficial. But you've got to, personal stays in personal, and occasionally you can bring business into personal. Personal never comes into business. Business is always business. Always your niche, always who you are and what you do for your business. Does that make sense to you, Robert?
It does. It does. And I had kind of an unusual experience with something like that in the last few days. I was on Facebook, and Facebook for me is primarily a business environment. Like, people who are my friends on Facebook are mostly, they're either personal friends that are interested in what I do business-wise, or they're people who I've made friends with through my business. So I noticed I've been like really close to 2,000 friends for a long time. Like, I get really close, and I never quite got over that plateau of 2,000 friends. And I looked at it the other day, and I was 1,992 friends. And I was like, come on, man, I got to get to 2,000. So I actually posted something on Facebook. I said, I'm 8 people short of 2,000 friends. I've made the decision. I want to have 2,000 friends on Facebook. Who do you know who would be interested in my work, be interested in connecting with me? And the next 8 people who reach out and request to be my friend, I will send them a free copy of my book and journal. So, the signed book and journal, and it's a $15 book and a $20 journal. So it's a $35 value plus the shipping. It's a nice little incentive. But I thought, you know what, I want to do that. Like, I really want to get over 2,000 friends. So I had like 30 people respond within a couple of hours with a friend request. And I sent out a message to the first 8 saying, congratulations, you were one of the first 8. Send me your address. I've only heard back from 2 of them. So far it's cost me 2 books. Actually 3. One was in Mexico, and I said, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to ship the book to Mexico because it costs like $25 to ship a book to Mexico. So I sent him the PDF version, which he was thrilled with. And so 3 out of the 8 people. And then the other, like 22 or whatever it was, I sent them a message back saying, thank you so much. I'm thrilled that we're connected on Facebook. I'm sorry you weren't one of the first 8 people. But if you are interested in getting the book and journal, here's a way to get it for only $20, and I'll send you a signed copy, and I'll make it free shipping. So they get a $35 book and journal for $20 and free shipping. And I actually had 3 people who ordered the book and journal. So it ended up not really costing anything. It ended up kind of generating all this conversation and all this activity. And I actually am engaged in a couple of really interesting conversations with new people that are genuinely interested in my work. So I think it fits into that realm of what you're talking about. Try stuff, give stuff. Don't make it about buy my stuff. I hope none of the people who got that second message thought I was just trying to sell my book and journal. I really just kind of felt bad that they didn't get the free one. But it ended up, on some level, it ended up working. It engaged some really good conversations.
Yeah, and I think that's the idea. The point is, you tried something different. You did something that was unique to you and your business. You asked for it. You didn't just hope that you'd get to 2,000. You publicly declared, I'm looking for this assistance. I remember you sent out the message. It wasn't just about if you're like, hey, I'm looking for new friends. It's, hey, if you know people who might want a copy of my book. You asked your current 1,992 people to find other people who would be interested and sent that information on. So you asked for those referrals. You did it in a personal way. You didn't try to sell. The fact that you didn't try to sell your book afterwards. You just said, hey, you weren't one of the first 8. If you'd like to get it, here, I'll let you still be able to get it at a discount. So you made them exclusive. You made them unique. So that little marketing ploy really covered everything we've been talking about up to this point, about asking for referrals, marketing, exclusivity, using social media in a way that isn't salesy. All those pieces came together really well for that. So it's a perfect example.
Yeah, well, and you brought it up too. The other benefit that came out of it was I got to see a good example of who my friends are on Facebook, who are dedicated and committed enough to me and what I do to share that with their people. I mean, the majority of those 30 people that responded came from only 3 or 4 people that I'm connected to. So it was a really good reminder for me that those are people that I should be more actively engaged with, not just on Facebook, but pick up the phone, make a call, you know, set up a time to talk to them, and you know, make sure that I'm doing whatever I can to support them and that they're aware of everything that I'm up to. So
yeah, I think it's great. It's a perfect example. Thanks, Robert.
The one thing I would do differently is I would have just offered the PDF copy of the book, because, you know, as a business strategy, to be offering to send out, like physically send out the books and journals, first of all, it's time consuming. Second of all, there's a real tangible hard cost involved. You know, every time I send out a book and journal, it costs me, you know, $12, $13, something like that for the book and the journal and the envelope and the stamp and the whole thing. So, you know, as a pure dollars and cents bottom line kind of a decision, I would never want to do that as like a huge campaign to get Facebook friends. It wouldn't make sense. But for the PDF version or an online resource, it absolutely would make sense.
Yeah, and exactly. And this is why it's always beneficial to have that free offer, have that availability. It's the reason why I'm giving everybody these free ebooks on a regular basis. You're getting a resource from me that can help you in your small business. That's the reason why I offer these things. It doesn't really cost me a lot other than originally setting everything up. And it's still giving benefit. I'm still giving value, which is the point. So I think you're spot on with that. Speaking of the ebook, the next step in the ebook is shake hands with business-to-business marketing. And I think this is one that a lot of service providers forget. And this is because they're so focused on business-to-client. Where can I go that my clients might be at so I can try to get more clients? But remember, referrals are the most powerful thing. If I didn't have that bookkeeper, I wouldn't have some of the people I already have as clients, because they wouldn't be saying, oh my gosh, this business needs your help, here you go, like I'm going to put them in touch with you, or you can reach out to them however you want to do it, that kind of thing. It's that idea of reaching out and letting other businesses know who you are and what it is that you offer. It's what BNI groups are all about, what Wendy was talking about. It's a bunch of business professionals in a room together saying, here's what I do, you know anybody who needs what I can do? And it's doing that interaction. And it's when you're having those business-to-business conversations, you're not talking about the same way you would talk about it if you were talking to a possible client. You're not selling your business in the same way. You can tell funny stories. You can be maybe give a little bit behind-the-scenes stuff. Like my title is Chief Joy Officer, and I would explain what that means in a business-to-business setting more than I would in a business-to-client setting. In a business-to-client setting, I would talk about what is it that you need to do to make more money, and how can I help you find that time to be able to do that. That's what I talk to a client. To a business-to-business, I talk about the fact that I'm so sick of business experiences, interactions not being fun, being tedious, being unpleasant. I don't want to do that anymore, so I named myself Chief Joy Officer so I remember to always go into every interaction from a place of happiness and joy. That's a great business-to-business conversation. I stand out a little bit to the business person. They remember me a little bit. Hopefully I was in a place of joy and fun at the time we had the conversation, so it matches. But now I stood out in their mind a little bit. Now they might be like, oh, I love this business, folks, but they've been screwed over by a bunch of consultants before. Sean seems like the right guy. He's more fun. He's more happy about it. Maybe this will be a better fit. That kind of stuff makes a difference, but you've got to make it unique to you and just give a little bit more personal side than here's what my business does. Please find me people. You can find that middle ground and make it a lot more effective. Wendy, I'm curious, when you said you went to multiple BNI groups and chose one, what was it that made you choose that one BNI group over the other BNI groups?
Yeah, interesting, because the BNI group that I chose, they asked me that exact same question. In the end, there was just something resonated. This one was had more of an earthiness and an authenticity to it that the others didn't. That's all I can say. And for me, authenticity is so important, and being grounded in business. So it just, yeah, I just connected with it more. And probably what also helped was I had been subbing for a little while from my accountant. My new accountant asked me to be his sub while he went back to India. So I probably got to know them a little bit more as well. But really, I put that aside when I was checking out the other ones. So yeah, it comes down to the earthiness and the authenticity.
And I think that's the key. Like, you felt comfortable there, which is the key. In this realm, you need to feel comfortable. You have to feel like you're going to fit. And that's the business-to-business communication, is having that in a way that they feel comfortable around you, so that they're going to feel comfortable talking about you if that opportunity ever arises. So that comfort, that level of authenticity and connection makes a difference.
And interestingly enough, somebody else advised me to go with the group that was bigger. So they said base my decision based on numbers. You know, if you go for a group that's bigger, you've got more chances of being referred. But in the end, I couldn't do that. It was more important for me to be connected to fewer people than be in a bigger group where I didn't feel quite as connected.
And I think that's important. You knew what you were looking for. You found the right group that matched you, your personality, and what you wanted. So all of that made a difference. I think that's spot on. So
yeah,
that's perfect.
Can I just raise something on social media, on the social media thing, if we've got time? If we haven't got time, it doesn't matter.
No, go ahead.
I find this an interesting dilemma about, in particular, Facebook, because and it would be the same for service providers. Maybe service providers, they are their own brand, but they also have their business brand, their practice. So perhaps on social media, they might have two pages. They might have their personal page and their business page. What I'm finding, and I don't know if it's the same for, you know, Kairos and things like that, is that now as I get out in the world, a lot of business people that I meet want to be my friends on Facebook. Now I am building up my personal brand as part of my business brand, so of course I accept them. What I'm finding now though is that I've probably got more business related personal contacts than I have personal. So I just feel that I need to be really careful now about what I post on my personal page, but it's a bit tricky because I still want to be personal on my personal page, and it's about authenticity, so I don't mind telling business-related colleagues that I've been to New York and stuff like that, but I just find it's a really tricky area, and I know too the rules are changing with Facebook, so on your business page you're not necessarily going to be seen as much as you would be on your personal page. So yeah, I don't know. It's a dilemma for me. So I don't know if either of you have any ideas on that.
Well, the one thing that I've done on a fairly consistent basis is that if I'm posting something that is business related in my personal, I post it as a share from my business page, so it's clear that I'm sharing something I found valuable, even if it's my own business page. And I'll even mention, like, here's the newest thing, post from my business page, like, so that people know, like, that's where to go if you really want business stuff. My personal stuff, I mean, and also the other side of it is I'm not somebody who posts a lot on Facebook. I'm not talking about my dog. I'm not talking about, you know, XYZ. I don't do a lot of that. I'm a pretty passive Facebook user in that way. And so it's important that if you do have a lot of business contacts and a lot of people who are now friends with you online that are in business, you need to then make a distinct, like, you need to kind of let them know or consistently remind them that if you want business information, it's available for you on my business page. This is my personal world. If you want to know what I'm doing personally, that's fine too. There's nothing wrong with that. And you also want to make sure that what you post is not going to hurt your business. Because they've led into that, you have to make sure it doesn't hurt your business, that you're not posting inappropriate things, that you are being professional in all your posts, even if it is on your personal side, because that can come back to haunt you. And so that's another piece of it that people have to be aware of.
Yeah.
So the last piece.
Wendy, I'm not sure I'm a good source on that because, like I said, most of my interaction on Facebook is at least loosely business related, and I mean, I have a business page, but I do hardly anything on it. If people are seeing me on Facebook, they're just seeing my regular page. And that's partially because the way I look at it is I am my business, and it's not like I have this company that's selling widgets and then I have my personal life. You know, my business really is me. So and just also like Sean, I'm not someone who's on Facebook all the time. You won't see posts. My cat is pretty freaking hilarious sometimes. You'll sometimes see a picture of my cat doing some crazy thing. But it usually is in my office. He's sprawled across my desk. He looks like he's typing on my computer. He's, you know, it's loosely in the context of business. But it is an interesting question, like kind of where to draw that line.
Yeah, and it's okay. Like I said, it's got to be relevant to your business. You want to make sure that it's, but it doesn't have to be just business related. Like your cat is pretty funny, and it's pretty funny to see some of the silly things your cat does. And it helps people connect with you and get to know you better and know, like, and trust you better, like we talked about in previous weeks. So there is a value to that, but you also just don't want to overdo it. You do still want to make you want to attempt to kind of keep a line between those two. That can be very important.
Yeah, and you want to be multidimensional. You don't want to be just business. What I'm noticing, interestingly enough, is that people don't really respond and react to the business stuff that I share from my Algin Hall page, but anything personal, and I don't post really personal stuff, that's what they want. Like, they then see me as human and they really react to that, but they don't, honestly, couldn't care less when I'm posting stuff from Algin Hall. So it's interesting, but if you think about it, what am I advocating? I'm advocating authentic leadership. So perhaps they're just, what is it? Tuning into that energy match of, okay, here's Wendy being authentic, so the universe is responding to that. That's probably what it is.
Yeah, you're being what your business is, which is what makes it work. It makes people connect to you. So that's important. Really quick, last topic that I wanted to share really quick with everybody is this idea of segment and automate your messaging. And this concept is very simple. It's just the idea that when you're communicating to folks, especially through automation, you want to make sure that you're communicating to them where they're at. If they are coming in for a trial experience, they're getting the information about the trial experience. When they're getting information, when they've been with you as a client for 20 years, you don't necessarily need to say, welcome to our practice. Like, that's going to be really confusing to them. And so you want to make sure you understand who they are, where they're at in the process. If they're somebody who's never bought from you, that's one list. If they're somebody who's bought one thing from you, if they bought a lot of things from you, whatever it might be, you want to be able to communicate with them where they're at in their experience with you. And so that's just important, because that goes back to that very first thing about talking to them where they're at and making sure that you're having those communications that are personal. All of those things matter, and this is part of that segmenting and automating your message, is making sure you're communicating with them where they're at their level of knowledge and experience with you. So if they've just bought a book from Robert, that's different than if they've gotten coaching from Robert, and that's different than if they're in a mastermind group with Robert, and all those things. And so you want to make sure they're getting information based on where they are and what they've been through with you. So those are all the points I wanted to make today in this conversation that we're having about marketing for service professionals, and we're hitting that 50-minute point, which is right where I like to wrap up these calls. So I want to give both of you guys a chance to just share any last thoughts, insights, ahas that you might have gotten from today's hangout.
Just that it was useful. It was useful, very grounding. I found it very grounding to be focused on small business in terms of service providers. That's my biggest thing. I get too abstract and too scattered and too wide. So to have it in concrete, this conversation today in concrete terms around small business and service providers was really useful.
Good. Thank you. I'm glad it was. Anything, Robert, that you wanted to share?
Well, I think my big takeaway is a reminder about the importance of differentiation for service providers, and related to that, you know, so many times with service providers, I'm encouraging them to raise their rates. And, you know, there's so many people out there that are trying to compete on a commodity kind of basis, and I see that as just a long road of suffering for service providers to really declare your niche, declare your value, and declare what you're worth. And really, it's a service to your clients to do that. I learned that in the last year, actually, from some work that I did. And if we're not charging enough of our clients, we're not getting enough of a commitment from them to do their own work, because as part of a service provider, whether you're a health and wellness practitioner or a coach or whatever it is, we need our clients to do their part. And if they're not committed, and the financial investment is a big part of that, if they're not really committed, then they're not going to get the results no matter how good a coach we are, no matter how good a chiropractor we are, no matter how good a wellness practitioner of any kind we are. We need our clients committed. So raising our rates is really a win for a lot of people.
Yeah, and it's true. It's that valuing yourself, what you bring, and making sure that you own that you are value and have great knowledge, and so you provide a valuable service. Because if you price yourself too low, your service becomes becomes less valuable because it's worth whatever it is you're asking for. So if you can up your price, you're seen as more valuable. I think that's an important piece as well. Thank you guys for being on the Hangout. We're going to do another one next week. Every Wednesday at noon, we do these Hangouts. Keep an eye out for the invite to the next Hangout, and I'll announce what the topic is then. Thank you guys for being here.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Take care.
Bye.
Cheers, everybody.
Bye-bye.